everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate, otherwise known as Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I am coming at you with a new WIP and chat. But before we get started, it's time for the good stuff. I know that, hold on, in the past couple videos I've done, I haven't opened a can with you, but I just happened to be in the middle of one and I wasn't going to waste a whole new one by opening a new one, so sorry about that. That said, this time I was prepared. Okay, so today I am working on my kit for Marvelous May, the event that's going on this month, hosted by Katie over at Diamonds and Washi, and I'm going to be working on Balance. And this is one of the Marvel kits that came out, I think it was April 5th. So I thought this would be the perfect one to work on because it has a good amount of characters in it and I'm really excited to see how it works up. So far I've done 2 sections and I'm working on my 3rd, and that's where we're at as we get into this WIP and chat. So yeah, are you guys taking part in Marvelous May? I am very excited to be joining an event again. I haven't since I think Drills and Chills. I've just been trying to finish up the WIPs that I had going and just recently managed to do that in the case of like my Drills and Chills kit, Midnight Spell by Chrysabug. I finally finished that up not too long ago, and so I'm excited to start a new project and to participate in an event again. The tray that I'm using is actually from Munimade, and it's one that's discontinued because it's got this glitter which makes it kind of hard for the drills to slide around in, but I still really enjoy using it. It's the only kit I have that has both a lid and a spout plug, and I really enjoy it. So I feel like the colors go well with what's going on in the kit, and then the pen also is kind of it's probably my favorite pen I own just because it's so unique and it's the only full rainbow pen that I own. And I actually got this in a de-stash from someone else, and I'm not sure who the turner was on that, but it's a really pretty pen and I enjoy using it a lot. But yeah, if you're taking part in this event, let me know which kit you're working on. I'm very curious to see what everyone will pick. I'm wondering if Balance will be like one of the ones people think the way I did, that it's good for an event because it has so many of the characters. But yeah, let me know. So it hasn't been quite as long this time in between WIP and chats as it sometimes gets for me, even though things have still been pretty busy. They've also been pretty busy in my personal life, which means I have a lot to talk about. So I wanted to get my thoughts down before too much more happened and update you guys on everything that's been going on. So most recently, this past Saturday, another one of my kits was released called Incognito, and that one, for the first time, one of my kits actually sold out on day 1. So dang, thank you guys. If you were one of the ones who purchased that one, thank you. That was so cool. Just having a kit sell out like that is something unique to experience, and I'm so glad that everyone liked that one. I have yet to receive that. They did send me a copy of that kit, but it mailed out just a couple days before the kit actually released, so I don't have it yet. But once I get it, I'm gonna have to decide if I want to work on it right away because that's typically what I've done is once I get one of the kits of my artwork, I can't help but work on it right then. But I'm also in the middle of this event kit, and I want to, even though a finish isn't required, I kind of want to try and finish it before the end of the month and see if I can do it. Because not only do I have Incognito that I want to do, I also, when it comes in, I have a custom coming in that I want to do when I get it or soon after. And there's so many I want to get to, so I think it works a little bit better for my brain if I don't have too many WIPs going at once. So I'd like to kind of buckle down and finish this one during this month so that it opens up more spots for other kits I want to do. Like in June, for Pride Month, my son Fletcher and I want to do a kit together. It's a Pride themed kit, so I want to make sure and leave time for that. But I have a lot going on in June, actually, so I'm not sure how much time I will have. It'll help that we'll be doing that one like together. But I am hosting my friend's bridal shower in June, which is new for me. I think I talked about it in a WIP and chat back at the end of last year, but I got asked to be in my friend Jessica's wedding as her matron of honor. And so part of the exciting things I get to do as her matron of honor is plan and host her bridal shower. So that's going to be in June, and I'm definitely a little bit nervous because I've never planned an event like this before, because there's going to be like 30 people in attendance. Luckily, my daughter Sam has offered to help me plan that, and she's actually had some schooling for like hospitality and event planning, so she knows her stuff. And I'm excited to take advantage of her knowledge in that area so that hopefully we can throw a really fun event that Jessica will remember for the rest of her life and that her friends and family will enjoy, and something that'll be kind of something that Jessica doesn't have to plan because she's planning the whole wedding event and stuff. So I kind of want to keep her out of the planning for this as much as I can so that she can just relax and enjoy herself. And yeah. So also in June is my best friend from high school. Her name is Shauna, and she is having a special birthday this year. We were both born the same year, so she is turning 42, just like I did in February. And 42 is one of her favorite numbers because she's a fan of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so 42 is the meaning of life. And so she's going to have an extra special birthday celebration in Vegas. And she's invited me to that, and I'm hoping that I can go. And it's like a 3-night, 4-day event. And I'd be really excited to go because I haven't seen her in quite some time. I live in Oregon, and she lives in North Dakota. So we're quite distanced from each other, and it'd be really special to be able to spend that time with her. And that's at the beginning of June. And then, so we've got the beginning and the middle of June covered. At the end of June, my husband is talking about maybe going on a road trip to visit my stepdaughter, who lives in Montana. And I'd love to go on the road trip too, because I haven't ever really done a long road trip with my husband and my son, Casey. And I would really like to. I think it'd be fun. He talked about maybe going to Yellowstone while we were there. So that would be at the end of June. So June is filling up quickly when it comes to time to diamond paint, but I'm thinking maybe I could bring a diamond painting with me too while we were on our road trip. I don't know how well that would work, but it might. People do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all those events, and there's more happening in July and August too, like the actual wedding that I'm in, and the bachelorette party for that wedding, and so my summer is going to be very exciting. So I don't know how many diamond paintings I will be able to fit in during that time. So I'll have to play it by ear as far as WIP and chats go. Luckily, the month of May is looking pretty chill so far. So it'll be a nice downtime month before all the festivities begin. Which is nice because things have been kind of chaotic recently. So one of the biggest things that happened in the past couple weeks is that my dad got pretty sick. It started with tooth pain, like in his lower front jaw. And he went to the dentist, and the dentist said that he would need a root canal and referred him to an orthodontist. And while he was waiting for his orthodontist appointment, they put him on antibiotics to take care of the infection enough that when it came time to do the root canal, the infection would be gone enough for them to be able to do the procedure. But when he went in for the procedure, they started working on the root canal, and he was feeling what they were doing even though they had numbed him. So they said the infection was still there, and it was interfering with the numbing medication. So they sent him home. They didn't finish the procedure. They sent him home and put him on another round of that same antibiotic he had just finished taking. So he started taking that, and a few days into that, he seemingly had a reaction to it, because on the palms of his hands and on his face, he broke out in like an itchy hive-like rash. So they told him to stop taking the medication and said he might be allergic to it. Apparently allergies can, he's had that medication before these 2 times, but they said that allergies to medication can form even if it's, even if you've taken it before. And then they put him on a steroid, prednisone, to help take care of the reaction, I guess. And so he was taking that when all of a sudden he started getting a fever a couple days later that kept him kind of out of it for 2 days. And it went up to like 103, and it would vary from 103 to like 99. And after 2 days of that, which he took a test and it wasn't COVID, but after a couple of the days of that, he started feeling better. And that was when I came over to visit, and we watched the season finale of Quantum Leap that we've been watching together. And that morning, he had gotten out of bed, and his whole left leg was inflamed and red and painful to the touch. It was warm to the touch and just kind of weird. So that was a Saturday. And then by the time Sunday rolled around, his leg had gotten so bad that he could barely walk on it, and it was really hot to the touch and really swollen. So, and like in the meantime, I've left out some things, like he was going to urgent care for, figuring out what was going on with his fever and his reactions. And anyway, he went to urgent care and they sent him to the ER on that Sunday for his leg. And so I went down and sat with him in the ER while they did tests to figure out what they thought was wrong. He actually ended up getting admitted, and he was in the hospital for 2 days while they gave him intravenous antibiotics. They diagnosed him with cellulitis in his leg and did a CT scan on the second day and didn't find, they were looking for something in particular and it didn't show itself. So they said he was good to go home. So they sent him home with another prescription for oral antibiotics and some painkillers and stuff. So then he got sent home and wasn't getting better. After another 2 days of being on antibiotics and still not being able to walk or put any weight on his leg at all, he had a cane, but it was not really helping him get around. He just kept getting worse. So I took him to the ER again. I think it was on Thursday of that week. So he'd been home for 2 days by that point. So we went to the ER again, and the doctor there at the ER was really nice and said that, he was going to get to the bottom of this. And what he ended up doing was calling a dermatologist and sending pictures of the leg to the dermatologist. Because to him, he said it didn't look like cellulitis, which is a bacterial infection. He said it didn't look like a bacterial infection. So he sent pictures to the dermatologist, who said that to him it looked like vasculitis, which is a whole different thing. So they wanted to have him seen by the dermatologist and do a biopsy. So they sent him home from the ER. Luckily, he didn't have to stay in the hospital again. And the next day, they got him an appointment with the dermatologist who had been looking at his leg via pictures and stuff. So the next day, I took him to the dermatologist appointment, and they did the biopsy and put him back on prednisone, which is what he had stopped taking when he got the fever and the leg issue in the first place. They told him to stop taking the prednisone because maybe he was having a reaction to that. But they put him back on prednisone because they said that is what would fix the problem. So man, it was a big roundabout cluster, basically. Luckily, after this, he started taking the prednisone a couple of days ago, and he's feeling much better now and able to get around on his own. He's even driven a couple of places by himself. And today he went to his follow-up appointment with the dermatologist, and he won't get the biopsy results back for like another week and a half probably, but they said it's definitely looking better, and so they think that's what it was vasculitis. So that was kind of a scary process, just because my dad's, he's really independent. He's turning 70 this year, and that's another event happening in June, is my dad's birthday. And he is very used to being independent and going to the gym and kind of doing stuff on his own schedule. So not being able to go to the store when he needed to or things like that was really bothering him. So I think he's really glad that he doesn't have to depend on me for those things now that he's feeling better. Not that I minded, because it's been, him and me since I was around 4 when my parents got divorced. So it's my way to pay him back for all the times he's probably taken me to the doctor. So anyway, I'm really glad he's feeling better. And he was feeling good enough a couple of weeks ago to go to my son's big choir concert that he was taking part in for his school, which was like a big festival of all of the choirs from all the schools in the local area. So there were 12 choirs performing, and we were told to just come for the second half, because they broke it into 2 halves so that we wouldn't have to be there for hours. Well, we were there for a couple hours, but it would have been even longer if we saw all 12 choirs. But as it was, we saw 6 of them, and that was really fun to just see all the the choices of songs that the different choirs made, and all the creativity that went into their performances and solos and instrumental accompaniment and all that stuff. I am a big choir nerd. I loved being in choir when I was in school, and I've actually looked into local choirs for adults around here, but I can't really find any that are what I'm looking for. I wasn't looking to go to one that was associated with any church group or anything like that. I was looking for more of a, modern music type choir, but I don't see anything that is around that I can take part in like that, unfortunately. So I'll just have to live vicariously through my kids' musical activities, because not only did we get to see Casey's choir a couple weeks ago, my eldest daughter Sam was recently in a performance of Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast in Portland. So the Shadowcast for Rocky Horror Picture Show, if you don't know, is where they play the movie on the screen, and then in front of that they have a full cast reenacting what's going on the screen at the same time that it's playing. And people in the audience do callbacks, which is where they say certain things at certain times that make it funnier to hear what the actors say in the movie. Which is really fun. I'd never been before, even though this has been going on since, I think, the 70s. I was a Rocky Horror V, and it was really special that the first time I got to go was when my daughter was performing in Portland, playing the role of Janet, which is like the main female character in the movie. And it was an experience, because it's been many, many, many years since I've seen Rocky Horror, the movie. It's not a great movie, on its own, but it was a whole different experience seeing it in person with the live Shadowcast and hearing all of the callbacks from the audience. which was really fun. Although I will say that the fact that I hadn't seen the movie in so long made it really hard to understand what was going on, because people were shouting things kind of at different times, and they were shouting over the movie, so I couldn't hear what the movie was saying, and I couldn't really make out what they were saying part of the time. This could be because I have old ears, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was the ones that I did hear, I really enjoyed. It was really funny. Definitely irreverent, but that's kind of the point. And also, you know, even though it's not a great movie overall, Tim Curry in that movie is the best. He makes it so worth it. I would watch that movie just for his performance. So yeah, cult classic. Love that it's still got such a following, and I love that Sam has found herself a group of people to interact with and do things with. They, the group that she's in does Rocky Horror screenings like once every month or two. So, but they always rotate who's going to play which character, and they usually perform in her hometown, which is south of us in Eugene. But this time they got to perform at a special theater in Portland, which is north of us. And it was a really special thing that we got to experience. Fletcher came with me, and we had such a great time, and the vibe was so, I guess, it's hard to explain, but like open and devil may care kind of attitude, just really freeing, I guess. So yeah, I dressed up a little bit. I don't have a lot of fun clothes to wear to something like that, but I had a fun choker from one Halloween, and Fletcher let me borrow some of his cool earrings that would work with, like I wear earrings, but I never switch out my hoops because I am very prone to getting infections when I do that. So the earrings that he let me borrow just kind of clipped around the hoops, and I didn't have to remove my hoops. So yeah, that was really fun. And Sam did such an amazing job as Janet. She nailed it, but the whole cast was amazing. So if you ever get a chance, if you're into that kind of thing, because it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a certain type of person that would enjoy that type of performance, that type of show, and it might not be you, but if it is you, it's really fun. Luckily, Rocky Horror is notorious for, like, if you've never been to a show before, they kind of haze you. But luckily, this group, they were big on consent. So if you didn't want to take part in the hazing, then you were welcome to not, which I appreciated, because I definitely don't think that I would have been brave enough to do that. I don't think I can even talk about it here on my YouTube channel because it's pretty risque. So yeah, that was this past Saturday, and that was really fun, and I'm glad we got to go. It started at 11 p.m., so we had to drive up an hour away to see the show at 11, and it got done at like 1 a.m. So that was part of the fun, I think, to like be traveling at such a weird time of night. There's no one else on the roads on a typically very busy highway. Yeah, the whole thing was just fun. And I definitely needed some fun because we have been having the worst time with some work that we were having done on our house, which was to replace the flooring in our downstairs hall, living room, kitchen, front bathroom, and laundry room. It had taken forever to get it scheduled, but they finally got the materials ordered and we got on the schedule for this past Wednesday. And we cleared out our whole house and put all of the stuff from our downstairs living areas, like crammed into our bedroom and our garage and wherever we could find an extra space. And then as the day came, like the day before, we took down the aquarium in our living room and put our goldfish and koi into a big tub that was going to be their holding tank while this was all happening, because we could not move that huge aquarium when it was full of water. So we took out all the water, put it in a tub, put the fish in, moved the aquarium. The flooring guys, the installers, got here pretty dang early in the morning and started doing the demolishing of the carpet and like the stone tile we had in our entryway and our hardwood in our kitchen. And as they were doing that, I was trying to work in my office where they had stacked the new flooring because they didn't really have anywhere else to put it that wasn't part of where they were needing to demolish. So they stacked the flooring in my office, and as I'm sitting there working, I'm kind of looking at it and I'm noticing that it was all marked as being 7-inch width planks. So we were getting engineered vinyl plank, and the one that we picked was supposed to be a variable width engineered vinyl plank, where some of it was 5 inches, some was 7, and some was 9, but I was only seeing 7. So I called, I'm starting to get worried at this point. I called the store and I was like, hey, this doesn't look right. Can you confirm? And the guy at the store is not the one that we were working with, because of course he was off work that day. But he was telling me that I didn't know what I was talking about, and that none of their engineered vinyl plank had variegated sizing. Like it was all the same width. They didn't have any that had the variable width. And I was like, well, it said right on the sample, and the sample itself had different widths on it. And he's like, oh, well, that's just to show the different kinds of grain you could get. And I'm like, well, none of the other samples were that way. Like it was, none of the other samples had different widths of plank to show different parts of the grain. Like they were all the same width. And so basically he was just kind of gaslighting me. And I asked him to go check. And he went to pull the sample that I had sent him a picture of. And come to find out, he's like, oh, thanks for educating me. Yeah, this one definitely should be a variegated width. And you're right, we ordered the wrong one. So not only was it the wrong width, it was the whole wrong color. So he's like, well, we could order the right stuff, but it won't be here till May 1st. Is that what you want to do? And I was like, well, yeah, I don't want to spend all this money to remodel our flooring if it's not flooring that we like. So, I mean, after that, he was pretty nice, but like before that point, I felt very gaslighted. Like that's one of my triggers, is when people treat me like I don't know what I'm talking about. So it was very frustrating, but luckily it got worked out. The new stuff got ordered. They continued and finished the demolition on that day while they were here. So for the past week now, we've been walking around on the like plywood or MDF flooring, base flooring, until we can get our new flooring delivered and installed, which was supposed to be today as I'm recording this. But unfortunately, it's been delayed again, so now it's not supposed to be here till the 4th. And that's really frustrating, mostly just because of the fish. I can wait and have all of our stuff everywhere in our house and keep running into stuff in my bedroom as long as needed, but our poor fish are in this big tub without any filtration or they have air holes and everything. We're being safe about it, but it can't be good for them to be stuck in a tub when they are used to their aquarium with their filtration and their correct temperature and all that stuff. So I'm mostly worried about them. So the floor place was kind of understanding on that point and saying that, is there anything they could do? They could call a aquarium store and maybe have them house the fish while we're waiting for this to happen. And at this point, I think it would probably be more stressful on the fish to move them more times, because if we did house them somewhere else, we'd have to move them twice more instead of just once more, and it's only going to be a couple more days of waiting. So at this point, I think it would be better just to leave them where they're at. But we did kind of jury-rig a filtration system in there with some hoses and the pump, and we're hoping that tides them over okay until we can get them back in their aquarium. Fingers crossed that the flooring actually comes in this time. I don't know what's going on, but I was telling my friend Jessica when I went with her recently for her wedding dress fitting, which was fun. I was telling her how it seems like anytime I choose a professional for something, whether it's a doctor or a lawyer or an installer, something always goes wrong. I just must have the worst luck with choosing professionals for things. Maybe I should just leave it to someone else. The choice of professional, I should leave to someone else at this point. Oh, that reminds me, I have to now call our plumber again, who is going to come in tomorrow to put our toilet back, because the flooring people can remove the toilet to put the flooring in, but then they can't put it back because they're not certified to do that. So I had scheduled a plumber to come in, and I already had to reschedule him once when the first installation fell through, and now I have to call tomorrow and reschedule him again since the second installation has now fallen through. Anyway, so that's my frustrating story for the WIP and chat. I'm sure this will all be water under the bridge in another month or so, but right now it's causing no small amount of stress because of the fish, and not only that, but all of our stuff isn't where it should be, and that was supposed to be a very temporary thing, and it's turned into a 2-week thing, and yeah. So it's just messing with my brain a little bit. What else? Let's see. My husband and I recently watched the new Peter Pan and Wendy that just came out on Disney+. I don't know if you heard that. My dog just sighed really heavily. Anyway. We watched the new Peter Pan and Wendy, and it was, I didn't really know what to expect because I hadn't seen many previews or anything for it. But it was definitely different than the other versions of that story I've seen. Kind of a little bit darker in a way. like less lighthearted. And I kind of enjoyed that. I also really liked the acting. I thought the acting was really well done. Because obviously it's a lot of child actors who play the Lost Boys and Peter and Wendy and her brothers and all that. And it was really top notch, I thought. The Peter that they chose was kind of unconventional, like the way he looked. He wasn't a redhead like in the cartoon, or but I really thought he did an amazing job. And they even had like one of the Lost Boys, the actor had Down syndrome, and I thought it was really cool to see because it's something you don't see a lot unless it's the focus of whatever show you're watching. And they didn't focus on it at all. They just had him as one of the Lost Boys, and I thought that was, like, I'm no expert, but I thought that was good representation. So yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know that it would be the greatest for like really little kids because it's definitely a bit darker, but at the same time, it's probably good for kids to be able to watch stuff that's a little bit on the scarier side and learn that everything can be okay. So yeah, I don't know. I liked it. Other things that I have been consuming as far as like audiobooks, I did finish Project Hail Mary just the other night, and that was really, really good. I got very emotional at a couple different parts of that book. The narrator, because I listen to audiobooks, the narrator was fantastic. Like, he put so much emotion. You felt like you were listening to the person in the book. Like, he knocked it out of the park. It was amazing. So, highly recommend that as an audiobook. If you like audiobooks, there's some special parts of that book that are really cool in audiobook form. So, can highly recommend. It was one I didn't know for sure how it was going to end, which I usually am pretty good at guessing, like, if not every detail, at least the overarching picture of what's going to happen. I'm usually pretty good at guessing. This one, I really had no idea. So it got down to the last hour, and I was like, how is this going to wrap up? And it was very stressful, but really good. I enjoyed the experience a lot, and it kind of makes me want to read more of Andy Weir's books, because that was the first one I had tried. And it took me a few hours of listening to really kind of get into his style, because it's a lot more technical, like with the science and math and stuff. But by the time I kind of had listened for a while, it wasn't a problem, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, highly recommend that one. As for what I'm gonna read next, Katie was talking about reading Throne of Glass, the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, who wrote the ACOTAR novels. And I might join her on that, because it was really fun to read the ACOTAR novels with her and just kind of check in with each other on what we thought about certain things while we were reading. And I think some other friends are going to be reading the Throne of Glass series at the same time, so that'd be really fun to join in on and try to keep up with everybody on. I don't have any idea what the series is about. I haven't researched that at all, but I do know that I enjoyed the ACOTAR series, and I'm pretty sure I'd enjoy her other series also. So yeah, might go ahead and do that if they're cool with me joining them. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but in the meantime, I've been just watching YouTube videos. One of my favorite things to watch is these big, long essay videos about different topics. Like I just watched one about all of the Disney theme park attractions that they announced that they were going to make and then never made. And I didn't know about most of them. And it was really fun to learn about because some of them would have been so cool, and I wish that they had been able to make them. But they just, in some cases, they lost their funding or their sponsor, or things changed in like who was running stuff. But yeah, some of them would have been really cool. And I don't know, it's cool, but also somewhat creepy to me to see all of these like concept arts of what they were planning to make but never got made. I don't know why I find it a little bit like creepy cool, but it kind of gives me the vibes of like old abandoned theme parks, or like ghost towns almost, even though these things never actually got built. Just the fact that they were in the different stages of planning and of creation and then got abandoned. I don't know, it gives me the heebie-jeebies in a kind of delicious way. So that might be a weird quirk of mine, I don't know. But yeah, I watched, just different, I like to watch stuff about Disney and stuff about like movies, different movie analysis and stuff like that. Just all kinds of stuff. And that's typically what I'll do if I'm in between audiobooks, is just find some long form essay videos and stick those on while I diamond paint. And of course, WIP and chats and stuff I'll often watch while I'm diamond painting. But I am looking forward to starting a new book soon, hopefully. Because I like those, because it's kind of like I can just get lost in it. Turn it on and it goes for hours and hours, and I don't have to worry about finding something new after a little bit. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I think that's about all that I had to update you on for now. It was quite a bit this time. I'm not sure when I'll be able to do another WIP and chat, but I'm really glad I got to do one a little bit closer up to the last one this time, instead of waiting several weeks in between, and I'm hoping I could keep that up. But it's hard to do a WIP and chat when I don't have that much to talk about, so I'm glad I had plenty to update you on this time. That said, tell me down below how your past week or two has been, and if you're reading anything new or finished anything that you really enjoyed. I love hearing about that stuff, and I will catch you all in the next one, whenever that's going to be. So thank you for being here. Bye, everybody.